Good evening. It is day 5 of the viaduct shutdown in Seattle, and we're following 2 big stories tonight, including the effort to get the tunnel open by early next month, and also the ongoing traffic crunch, often called Via Doom.
It's all hands on deck on both fronts to keep motorists moving during this difficult time and to put the finishing touches on this mega project along Seattle's waterfront. King 5's Glenn Farley joins us live tonight. Glenn, we understand crews are making good progress.
They continue to make good progress, largely because we've had good weather. That's also helping traffic. And from our rooftop perch here, let me back up and let Dave push in, and we can see what's going on. So you see the yellow stacks, which they can change color on. You see it going to red. Now in front of that, we now have a new road you're about to see. As we pull back a little bit, you see that bright light. They're finishing the ramp going into Dearborn Street, which is the road we're talking about. And then, of course, like we showed you last night, you can even see down into the tunnel from here. You can see the steam rising from fresh asphalt that makes up a brand new section of Dearborn coming off First Avenue. This is the road that will help connect the south end of downtown to the south end of the tunnel. To make way for it, part of the northbound viaduct ramp was cleared out starting Saturday within hours of the viaduct closure. Andrew Gardner taking his lunch breaks to document the changes for his kids.
My kids someday, they're 6 and 4, but they won't appreciate it now, but probably someday when they're walking around the waterfront, I'll show them these videos and what it used to be like.
One of the ramps connecting to that new Dearborn Street, the long northbound off-ramp. And where they left gaps for those detours to and from the viaduct, one is rapidly approaching completion. Yesterday, they were putting in the rest of the geofoam blocks to hold up the road. Today, you can see the geofoam is now covered with layers of dirt and plastic. Next step, pouring the concrete. But that's our future. We still need to struggle through traffic over the next few weeks. A trouble spot this morning caught on this video clip along Spokane Street. Traffic here and along East Marginal Way blocked by stopped trains.
Yesterday, for example, those
in front of the King County Council, Metro's Bill Bryant.
2 trains blocked parts of Spokane Street and Marginal Way. And just to give you an idea of how closely we're tracking these incidents, those trains delayed certain routes by somewhere between 25 and 39 minutes, I'm told.
Now, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, which is responsible for the tracks that go along 2nd Avenue and the Spokane Street incident, they said today, renewing their commitment to try and make those kind of movements in off-peak hours, especially overnight. Union Pacific would control the track going across East Marginal Way out of one of their yards there. This incident, these incidents involving the trains today involving SDOT and the new sort of traffic fixer, General Mike Warden, to get involved and be involved in those conversations as well. Now, again, like I said, we have benefited both traffic-wise and construction-wise by the fact that we have had good weather, good, nice, dry weather. That's about to change. Let's toss it over to Jordan Steele.
All right. Thank you so much, Glenn. And you know what? We take a look at that big storm that's coming in from California, ladies and gentlemen. This one is going to be a good storm system to get us what we need. We need precipitation. We're dry on that in that front, specifically when you look at the month of January. And it's going to give us mountain snow. The snowpack not looking good either. Most of the precip right now is in California, but it is sliding into Oregon. And we are going to be seeing it sliding here locally in the matter of hours for some of you. For others, maybe just a few minutes, depending on where you're watching. The further south you are, the better chances you have of seeing the rainfall coming in tonight. If you put that track on it, it'll be working its way towards Tacoma within the next couple of hours. Now, here's the bigger picture. As we look at the UW high-resolution model, the wind today has been cranking, specifically for those areas near North Bend, of course, up towards Highway 2, closer to Gold Bar. Anywhere where you've got the Cascade Gaps, where some of our major highways run through, that easterly wind has been problematic the last couple of days. But it will shift eventually. The rainstorm's got to move through. So here's the timing of the showers we were just looking at. There's your timestamp at 7 o'clock. That'll slowly work its way all the way up into Everett and Bellingham as we work our way into the 10:30 time frame. Wind is still offshore, but the rain is still coming in, and the center of the storm itself is going to pack a lot more of a punch than that going in closer to the weekend, which we will tackle coming up in your full forecast. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the roads with Stephen Kilbreth.
All right, there was a stalled vehicle blocking on the ramp to Mercer Street here from northbound Interstate 5. fact, there's a pretty huge backup right now. If we look at Sky King, that's over the scene here in Mercer Street on I-5. You can see getting into downtown Seattle is a tough drive still at this late hour as we see the Seattle squeeze continuing as more people are on I-5 than we normally see. We go back to our graphics now, and I can show you that drive into the downtown Seattle area from the north end of Boeing Field all the way into downtown Seattle. You're not above 25 miles an hour. Now let's take a look at the West Seattle Bridge. It's heavy again from I-5 all the way into West Seattle this afternoon and early evening, as you can see, as people are trying to get over to West Seattle. The downtown streets, you can't get onto Highway 99, so you're using surface streets, and then everybody's jamming over towards I-5 to try and get that breakaway. Here's a look at Denny and Mercer Street as we take a focused look on that, but it doesn't really look anything worse than it normally does. The rest of the commute leaving Bellevue northbound on 405 looking this, southbound on 405 looking like this right now. And as we take a look at this, the water taxi, if you live in West Seattle in mornings, you can take the West Seattle water taxi at these times, and it leaves Vashon at 6:10, 7:10, and 8:15. In fact, the Washington State Ferry System tweeted out earlier today, they said, hey, why not take the Fauntleroy Ferry to Vashon and then take the Vashon water taxi into Seattle? You can have a whole morning on the water. Be kind of fun. Might take you a long time, but you could see some seals or something as we send it back over to you guys.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Seattle's proposed waterfront property owner tax got a public hearing in Seattle today. As Chris Daniels reports, this is the last piece of a years-long plan to renovate the waterfront after the Seattle squeeze.
Good evening. We are talking about 20 acres of key waterfront property that is scheduled to be redeveloped after the viaduct comes down and one last council vote.
What can I get started for you?
In a matter of days, the waterfront has already changed.
Last week was busier, overall a lot steadier.
Traffic?
It was loud, it was kind of rambunctious.
Replaced by tranquility.
It's quiet, it's nice, it's peaceful.
Carlo Paz looks directly at the viaduct and has also seen a drop in foot traffic.
There's with sauerkrauts.
Thanks to the Seattle squeeze. Businesses are already gearing up for what could be a 4-year-long period of maximum uncertainty.
This waterfront project is not taking money away from the Metropolitan Park District.
Today, Seattle's council reviewed a new proposal to tax waterfront property owners in a local improvement district to pay up to $160 million of the $700 million plus cost. 4 council members did not show strong objections to the tax proposal laid out by Seattle's mayor earlier this month, or the lack of exemptions.
We are prohibited from doing so under state law. That is exactly right.
Cautious to see what the city does with the funds and actually the implementation of it.
Paz says for now, he'll enjoy the clean air, the birds, which have replaced the buses, and the serenity on the street. As of right now, the redevelopment is scheduled to begin later on this summer after the viaduct is torn down, with everything to be said and done by 2023. In Seattle, Chris Daniels, King 5 News.
Chris, thank you. Stay with King 5 News for continuing coverage of Realign 99. We begin every day at 4 a.m. on the air to bring you live traffic reports. We'll also issue alerts about traffic problems to your mobile device at king5.com and on TV. We're still about 2.5 weeks away from the tunnel opening, so be sure to keep up to the latest news, traffic, and weather during the viaduct closure.